In the heart of the city, where skyscrapers touched the clouds and church bells rang louder than broken homes, there lived a woman everyone admired, but no one truly saw. By day, she was Grace, the flawless pastor's wife. By night, she became someone else. What she did after sunset would shake the church, disgrace the pulpit, and force a man of God to confront a truth he had long ignored. This is not just a story of betrayal. It is a story of neglect, loneliness, temptation, and redemption. Grace lived in a beautiful apartment overlooking the busy streets of the city. Cars never slept. Neon lights flickered endlessly. Yet inside her home, silence ruled. Pastor David, her husband, was loved by many. His church was large, modern, and filled every Sunday. People praised his sermons, shared his quotes online, and called him a true man of God. But at home, Pastor David was rarely present. Grace often sat alone on their leather couch, scrolling through her phone, waiting for a man who came home with his mind still at the altar. "How was your day?" she would ask. "It was fine," he replied, already opening his laptop, already lost to church matters. Days turned into months. Months into years. Grace became invisible in her own marriage. One afternoon, while shopping at a city mall, Grace ran into Amoka, an old friend from her youth, bold, stylish, and confident. "Grace, is that you?" Amoka exclaimed. They hugged, laughed, and sat for coffee overlooking the city traffic below. Amoka noticed the sadness Grace tried to hide. "You don't look happy," Amoka said softly. Grace smiled. "I'm blessed." Amoka shook her head. "Blessed doesn't mean fulfilled." Those words followed Grace home. Soon, Grace began to change. New hairstyles. Elegant dresses. Makeup she hadn't worn in years. Compliments returned first from strangers, then from someone unexpected. Mr. Tony, who was confident, well-spoken, and attentive. He noticed Grace in ways Pastor David no longer did. They met by chance at a cafe downtown. Conversation flowed easily. Laughter came naturally. Grace told herself it was harmless. But city nights are dangerous when loneliness walks beside you. Their meetings became secret. Hidden restaurants. Quiet corners of the city. Grace lived two lives, one in church robes, the other in city lights. Until someone was watching. Sister Margaret, a devoted church member, saw Grace one evening, laughing, holding hands with a man who was not her husband. She took photos. Clear. Damning. Days later, during a women's prayer meeting, Sister Margaret stood up. "Some of us pretend in church," she said coldly. "But God sees everything." She projected the photos. The room froze. Whispers turned into gasps. Grace's heart dropped. Her knees trembled. At that moment, the doors opened. Pastor David walked in. Silence swallowed the room. "Grace," he said quietly, "is this true?" Tears streamed down her face. "Yes," she whispered. "I was lonely." The city outside kept moving. Inside, lives shattered. Later that evening, Pastor David stood before the congregation. His voice was not angry, just broken. "I failed my wife," he confessed. "I preached love but neglected my home." Grace stood beside him, ashamed yet honest. "I sinned," she said. "But I was empty. I needed to be seen." Instead of condemnation, Pastor David spoke of forgiveness. Of counseling. Of healing. The church wept, not for the scandal, but for the truth. Slowly, Grace and Pastor David began again. Late-night talks replaced late-night secrets. Walks through city streets replaced lonely dinners. They learned to see each other, not as titles, but as people. This story teaches us a painful truth: loneliness can exist even in holy places, and neglect can destroy even sacred marriages. Grace's mistake did not begin at night, it began with silence. Before you judge, listen. Before you condemn, reflect. Because sometimes, the greatest sin is not betrayal, but forgetting to love the one closest to you. If this story touched your heart, subscribe for more powerful stories that reveal the hidden truth of life, love, and choices. Now tell us, do you believe Grace deserved forgiveness, or should some mistakes change everything forever? And in a world that never sleeps, may we never fail the hearts that trust us most. See you in my next video.